Coach Darrell Royal's record-breaking Texas Longhorns provided a fitting climax to the 100th anniversary of college football. They wrapped up their second national championship in 6 years with those great come-from-behind wins over Arkansas and Notre Dame. Texas displayed a potent offense and a stubborn defense during their uphill drive to the national title. Texas used the wishbone T offense, featuring the execution of quarterback James Street, the devastating blocking of the Texas line, plus the talented and explosive running of Ted Coy, Steve Wooster, and Jim Bertelsen. They helped record the school's 500th victory, its 20th straight, and added more laurels to the already great record of Darrell Royal. During his 13 years on the Austin campus, Royal's teams have won 108 games, lost only 28, and tied 4. They won 6 Southwest Conference championships, plus 2 national titles, and have gone to 10 postseason games, winning 7 of them. The Texas offense posted new records of 472 yards a game, including 363 yards a game rushing, and a record output of 414 points and 57 touchdowns. The defense held up its end, too. The 27 pass interceptions were the most ever during the Royal era. The Longhorn regulars allowed only 6 touchdowns during the year, as reserves played more than half of the early games. The rampaging Longhorns not only won handily in some games, but they overcame adversity in others. They overcame 14-point deficits in the Oklahoma and Arkansas games and were behind 10-0 and 17-14 in the Cotton Bowl win over Notre Dame. The Longhorns participated in 2 of the greatest games ever played, the showdown at Fayetteville for several national championships, and that great glamour game in the Cotton Bowl that nailed down all the marbles remaining for the national crown. Though there were 11 All-Southwest Conference players and 4 All-Americans on the Texas squad, the season was marked by teamwork of the Longhorns. It all began in Berkeley as the Longhorns opened with the California Bears. Ted Coy hit the middle for 5 yards. 2 plays later, sophomore halfback Jim Bertelsen takes a pitch out, circles right in for a 9-yard pickup. It's Bertelsen again, this time for a gain of 9 yards again. Several plays later, Bertelsen gets 7 down to the California 13, a good block by tackle Bob McKay. And then Bertelsen, with blocking help from Wooster, gets the touchdown on this 11-yard run. Bertelsen is one of 3 out-of-staters on the University of Texas squad. We're in the second quarter. The Longhorns lead 7-0. James Street hits end Randy Peschel, an 11-yard pass. 2 plays later, Ted Coy gets 5 behind a good block by Bertelsen. And then big Steve Wooster goes over right guard behind Mike Dean for a 20-yard scamper. Street scores Texas' second touchdown on this 5-yard keeper. Randy Peschel clears the way. Texas picked up a 32-yard field goal by Happy Feller after this fumble recovery by Mike Campbell. Leo Brooks causes the miscue, and Mike Campbell picks up the ball. Later in the third period, his brother Tom Campbell stops a California drive with this pass interception, the first of 7 for the defensive halfback during the year. That good Texas secondary is coached by Fred Akers. Late in the game, Leo Brooks stops California with this 4th down play. Large Leo earned all-conference honors in spite of going out at mid-year with a knee injury. It was Texas 17-0 against California. Now it's back to Austin at UT's Memorial Stadium on the AstroTurf. Longhorns against Texas Tech. Bill Zavalak causes a fumble. Mike Campbell falls on it to start a Texas score. Wooster gets the Longhorns going as he slashes straight ahead for 9 yards behind a fine block by Bobby Wunsch. 2 plays later, Billy Dale follows great blocks by Coy and Forrest Wiegand around the right side for 12 yards and another Texas touchdown. Bertelsen barrels ahead for 8 yards and a first down at the Red Raider 36. Then Coy hits into the line and picks up 7 yards. Fourth and 3. How many times has this situation come up? It's Street passing to Spire, 10 yards, down to the 5-yard line. And then Jim Bertelsen crashes into the end zone for Texas' second touchdown. Watch Jim Bertelsen's downfield block as Ted Coy with other good blocks. Bobby Wunsch also. He goes 42 yards all the way down to the Texas Tech 5. And then Wooster gets the touchdown to give the Longhorns a 21-0 edge. The Texas defense had a great night. Here Rover linebacker Mike Campbell gets into the scoring act as he leaps high for Joe Matalich's pass and then goes 26 yards for another Texas touchdown. His twin brother Tom does his thing with this steal. He returns 32 yards to the 2. They're sons of the defensive chief, Mike Campbell, and it's under Campbell's direction that the Longhorns intercepted a record 27 passes this season. Wooster gets the touchdown, and Texas goes on to win the conference opener 49-7. It's Navy this time, still on the AstroTurf at Memorial Stadium. Texas' first play of the game. Bertelsen breaks up the middle behind a Bobby Mitchell block. He goes 43 yards for the first Longhorn score. Bertelsen came off a fine Texas freshman team coached by Bill Ellington, Jim Helms, and Timmy Dorr. Bob McKay makes the block, and Jim Bertelsen picks up 7. Wooster keeps the drive going with 5 yards. Bertelsen again, this time for 8 yards. 2 plays later, Coy gets the touchdown with help from Wunsch and Bertelsen. The Texas passing game gets into the act as Street passes to Spire for 12 yards. Good pass protection blocking by Bertelsen. And then Bertelsen takes a pitch wide right. He picks up good blocks from Coy and Ehrig and rambles for 20 yards. Coy gets 11 to the Navy 1-yard line. The coach of the fine Longhorn offensive backfield is Emory Ballard. Coy then smashes over from the 1-yard line to make the score 21-3. The Texas reserves are in the game now. It's in the second quarter. Eddie Phillips scores on this nifty keeper of 15 yards. Texas, by the way, lettered 59 players this year, and that included 17 sophomores. Phillips does it again early in the third period. He dances 7 yards for the score. The Texas team finally sunk the Middies 56-17. The Cotton Bowl in Dallas, first of 3 games. Texas played there in that Dallas Bowl. Texas trailed 7-0, and Steve Owens on these 2 plays makes it 14-0. In the first quarter of play, Owens leaps into the end zone. Jim Bertelsen ignites the Longhorns with this 42-yard kickoff return. He's finally dragged down from behind by a Jersey tackle. Street then gets Texas into the scoring column with these 2 passes to Spire. The first, a great leaping catch, good for 35 yards. And the second, with good pass protection blocking from Steve Wooster, a fine 23-yard catch for the touchdown. Texas is on its way to another score here when Street hits Bertelsen dashing down the sidelines, not missing a step. The play nets 55 yards, and it puts Texas in business at the OU 25-yard line. Bertelsen gets the tying touchdown on this 1-yarder, a key block by Ted Coy out front. The Longhorns are clinging to a 20-17 margin when Scooter Monzingo punts to Oklahoma's Glenn King. He fumbles at his 23, and Bob McKay recovers for Texas. Watch the blocking here by McKay, Dean, and Wunsch. Wooster's the power man on this play, roaring 11 yards to the 7-yard line. 2 plays later, Wooster gets the final points. The Texas defense assured a Longhorn victory, the 11th in the last 13 games against the Sooners, as Tom Campbell intercepted a Jack Mildren pass. Texas won it 27-17 to make it 3 in a row over OU. After a week off, the Longhorns meet the Rice Owls again on the AstroTurf. Late in the first period, safety Fred Steinmark tips the pass. Linebacker Mac McKinney intercepts and sets up business at the Owl 32. Longhorn linebackers are coached by Tom Ellis. Street gets Texas underway with this 19-yard pass to Spire. Then James keeps behind a Bertelsen block and goes to the 1-yard line. Steve Wooster loses his helmet on this play, but gets the touchdown. Defensive back Danny Lester electrifies the crowd on this punt return as he nearly goes all the way. It's a 66-yard return to the Owl 4. That's sophomore Carl White in front with the block. Wooster blocking and Bertelsen barreling over for the touchdown. Another big defensive play, this time by end David Arledge. He hits quarterback Mike Kramer, and Leo Brooks recovers for Texas. The coach of that great defensive line for Texas is R.M. Patterson. Street passes to Wooster on this screen pass. McKay and Jim Achilles get good blocks, and the play goes for 22 yards. Ted Coy, high-stepping along, gets 16 yards behind blocks by Wiegand, Dean, and McKay. Billy Daigle scores the touchdown as he takes a street pitch and cuts in for the score. Spire had a key block here. Reserve quarterback Phillips passes to Peschel, 14 yards. Ted Coy gets a good block and Phillips runs the option for 8 yards. It's Phillips again, but this time getting a great block from Bertelsen, and he goes to the 1-yard line. Billy Daigle scores the final Texas TD. Texas wins it 31-0. Back in the Cotton Bowl, SMU game. Coy rambled 17 yards. Randy Stout, Bobby Wunsch get good blocks. Stout, Wiegand, and Wunsch clear the way, and a few plays later, Wooster gets 10 more. Jim Bertelsen scoring up the middle. Texas led at the half 10-3 with the help of a heavy feller field goal, and now we pick up action in the third period as Street scrambles loose on a 44-yard run. Wunsch gets 2 blocks on this play, and Coy, Wiegand, and Peschel also help clear his path. Bertelsen picks up 12 more with fine blocking on the line. Steve Wooster gets the score. Texas makes it 24-6 with these next 2 plays. Bertelsen hits the left side, 9 yards. And then the Hudson, Wisconsin youngster scores on a 26-yard gallop. Texas set a new conference rushing record with 611 yards. Street hits Spire on this 10-yard gainer. And here Bertelsen gets 18 with fine blocking by all. Good blocking by Dale, Wunsch, Tommy Woodard, and Wiegand helped Coy go 40 yards on this touchdown run. For the first time in NCAA history, 4 backs on one team each gained more than 100 yards rushing in a single game. Tom Campbell picks off another pass here. He returns it 22 yards. Texas went on to whip the SMU Mustangs 45-14. The Baylor Bears visit Memorial Stadium. Texas keeps its momentum. Bertelsen gets things rolling with his 53-yard run. Bob McKay, Mike Dean, Forrest Wiegand helped clear the way with blocks. Coy gets the next call, jumps over the right side, down to the 1. Bobby Callison scores. Freddie Steinmark stops Baylor's next drive with a leaping interception at midfield. It's Callison again, bursting up the middle for 9 yards to the Baylor 20. Good blocking by the middle of the line. It's 3rd and 10 at the Baylor 20. Street passes to Spire, who makes a good cut and then goes in for the second score. Texas has taken a 21-0 lead. Billy Dale takes a pitch out around left end, 12 yards, as Peschel and Wunsch clear it all out. Phillips is in the game now, and he passes to Spire for 11 yards. Reserves poured in and played most of the game. Fine blocking by Wunsch, Stout, and Dale as Coy hits off the left side for 6 yards and the touchdown. Callison gets the nod this time, and the fullback with blocks by Dean and Stout goes 37 yards for the 5th Texas touchdown. Willie Zapalak is the coach of the offensive line and heads up the offense. Linebacker David Richardson intercepts this Laney Cook pass and then returns it to the Baylor 27 as Mac McKinney throws a key block. It's 4th and 8. Phillips passes complete to Peschel for 12 yards. It's a first down at the Bear 12-yard line. 2 plays later, Phillips runs in behind good blocks by Terry Collins, 33, and number 46, Bobby Callison. The Longhorns went on to win their 7th game of the year, 56-14. The TCU game. Street hits Spire, and the split end gets 14 yards, but he loses his tearaway jersey. 4 plays later, fullback Steve Wooster breaks up the middle, cuts back, and goes 34 yards for the second touchdown to put Texas ahead 14-0. It's back to hammer, hammer, hammer for Texas. Billy Dale breaks for 17 yards. Leon Manley helps coach that great blocking Texas line. And then Bertelsen rips ahead for 14 with the help of fine blocking by his teammates. Late in the drive, Street, a keeper, 10 yards. Wooster slams across, and Texas has a 28-7 lead. Spire returns this TCU punt 37 yards. He's finally brought down by tripping over one of his own blockers. Watch center Wiegand block. Wooster goes 15 yards on a draw play. This time, Wooster picks up 8 for the Frog 18. And Street finds Spire in the end zone for the 5th touchdown of the game. Billy Daigle breaks through a huge hole created by such folks as McKay and Wunsch, and he goes 51 yards. This gives Texas a 41-7 lead. Phillips finds Ken Ehrig all alone and hits him with a 51-yard scoring bomb. The Longhorns set a new conference scoring record with this 69-7 victory. That's the most points ever scored by one team in a Southwest Conference game. Thanksgiving Day, Texas A&M, College Station, fourth play from scrimmage. Bertelsen breaks through, walks on his hands, and then rambles 63 yards for the first touchdown. Fine blocking by the center of the line. 13 touchdowns scored this year by Bertelsen, and he led the team in rushing. Booster breaks up the middle, 21 yards. Bertelsen and two tackles spring Ted Coy over left tackle. He makes 10 yards. It's Ted Coy again, this time down to the Aggie 2-yard line. And Wooster crashes in from there. Street runs the option. He picks up 12 yards. Bobby Wunsch blocks. It's 8 yards out. Wooster gets the touchdown again. Street goes to the air this time, and he hits Cotton Spire for 28 yards. Back to the ground, Wooster breaks for 16 yards. Then James Street scores on an 8-yard option run. It's time for Tom Campbell to do his thing again. He intercepts Rocky Self's pass and takes it back to the Aggie 4-yard line. Bertelsen makes the score 33-0 as Ted Coy wipes out the last Aggie defender. Here's that end around by Cotton Spire, only this time he pulls up and he throws a 37-yard touchdown pass and a great catch by Randy Peschel. It was Spire's only pass of his collegiate career. The game of the century, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Quarterback Bill Montgomery throws. John Reese catches it at the Texas 2-yard line. The Porkers scored 2 plays later as Bill Burnett smashes into the end zone. After the two unbeaten teams struggled without scoring through the second quarter, Montgomery hits Chuck Dicus on this 29-yard scoring shot, and it's 14-0 Arkansas. Late in the third quarter, Texas takes the ball. Street runs for 6 at the Texas 37. Street passes 8 yards to Spire. We're now in the fourth quarter. Street looks for a receiver, can't find one, scrambles, gets away from several tackles, picks up blocks by several horns, and then runs 42 yards for Texas' first touchdown early in the fourth quarter. Behind blocks by Wunsch and Mitchell on the conversion, Texas goes for 2 as Street slips into the end zone. Texas now trails 14-8. Arkansas is driven to the Texas 7. It's 3rd and goal. Montgomery's pass picked off by Danny Lester. He stops an almost sure field goal attempt and brings the ball out to the 20-yard line. Here's the big play. Texas facing 4th and 3. Time runs short. Street drops back, throws the long bomb. A great catch by Randy Peschel at the Arkansas 13-yard line. Ted Coy runs hard. Fine blocking by Bertelsen, Wunsch, and it's now 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. Bertelsen ties the score behind Mitchell and Wunsch. The most important extra point of his career is kicked by Happy Feller, and the happy holder is Donnie Wigington. Arkansas drives again from the Texas 39 and Montgomery passes, but Tom Campbell is there to intercept and ensure Texas victory that puts the Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl and President Nixon in the Texas dressing room. The Cotton Bowl Classic, January 1st. Notre Dame quarterback Joe Theismann passes complete to Tom Gatewood, who goes in for a 54-yard touchdown bomb that puts the Irish out front 10-0. Texas comes back with a 74-yard drive. Street hits Spire on this 17-yard gainer. Then Randy Peschel makes another fine leaping catch on a 16-yard pass from Street. Bertelsen runs wide on a soggy turf. Bad footing, but he gets 17 yards behind good blocking. It's 3 plays later that Bertelsen crashes into the end zone, and that cuts the Notre Dame margin to 10-7. Wooster bursts over the left side for 9 yards as Texas begins a drive late in the third quarter. It's Wooster again, now in the fourth quarter for 7. Mitchell again blocking. A few plays later, Coy gets 10 down to the Notre Dame 35 as Stout and Bertelsen pave the way. Then Ted Coy scores on the option pitch, and Texas leads for the first time 14-10. But the Irish are still fighting. They go ahead again on this scrambling 24-yard pass to Jim Yoder for a 17-14 lead. With Wooster blocking, Street starts his winning drive of 76 yards with a 17-yard pass to Spire. A few plays later, Coy picks up 12 to the Irish 28. Mitchell, Wunsch, Bertelsen help out with blocks. And several plays later, it's the big one. 4th and 2 at the Notre Dame 8. Street passes, and Spire makes a diving catch at the 2-yard line. Billy Dale crashes over for the winning score of 21-17. Notre Dame opponents had averaged only 85 yards a game on the ground all season long, but Texas ran up 331 yards rushing in this classic contest. But it wasn't over. It was up to defensive halfback Tom Campbell to preserve the national championship with another interception, the 8th of his senior year at the University of Texas.